This is SOXL on the 5-minute time frame. Here are your price targets for Tuesday. We ended the day at $52.93, up a whopping 12.62%. Congratulations if you've made some money off of this ticker. This is where we ended at resistance, and another level of resistance above that takes us to 3 standard deviations and another potential take profit area at 54.89, and at 4 standard deviations, roughly $56.99. To the south side takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline, and in this case, support at 48.72, below that at -2 standard deviations, 44.58. This gap closes to the south side at 43.43. -2 SD is 42.48, and at -4 SD, $40.45. If we make it down to this level, I will definitely anticipate the stock to bounce, the ticker to bounce as people buy the dip. And this line will also act as support. Now looking left, this time around I turned on the bot for a buy and sell signal, which I don't use, but I just wanted to show you how this gets triggered. As you can see, a clear sell signal, and for me that is a sell signal as well. Anywhere on this line, and this line, those are the outliers. And if you are trading and trying to get in and out, that is a potential take profit area. People will lock in and they will leave, and they do. Now, here is a buy zone down here. We never touch this line, but sometimes and many times we don't, but sometimes it doesn't, and you just have to decide if you want to get in at that point. But I will clean this up because this is a gap closure. And when I see a gap, I just extend it out. I have no idea when it's going to touch, and it did right here on Friday to the south side at 47.57. See how that we made our way up and then got slammed down. And this is no longer a threat to the south side. There are other threats, but not this one anymore. And this gap, as I mentioned, is still in play. Okay, and that one began roughly May 15th-ish. And the one that I just deleted began roughly Tuesday night on June 4th. This one closed out. This one, it looks like a mess, but yeah, that one closed out to the south side at 54.30. When you turn on the bot and you're working off of the smaller time frame, obviously you will get a gazillion buy and sell signals. It'll be crazy. But if you like to scalp, flip it over to the one and use the bot, and that might help you too. Or turn on your VWAP, your Bollinger Bands, draw your support and resistance lines, your trend lines, your Fibonacci retracements. There are so many ways to skin a cat. And this one touched right here as it made its way down. So this is no longer a threat to our account as well. Clearly, I have not gone back and updated my chart in a while. This gap to the upside at 65.21 is where it will close, but as you can see on the 5, we are still in a downward channel, and this could touch tomorrow, Tuesday, because that is within -2 and 2 standard deviations where I like to track all day long. That is if we continue going down. We could have bursts of movement to the upside, and that will make the chart go sideways and then not touch that and then slam it down in a couple days. You just never know. All I'm doing is looking at price action. And let me show you this on the daily. Ignore all the horizontal lines. Those are my previous support and resistance lines. And what's going on here with the daily? we're at 52.93. We're basically grinding along the middle of the trend, following this pattern. And to the north side, oh, look at that. The last time I looked at this was for a trader named Mari. I think she made some money off of this. So congrats. So on the daily, let me just move that out of the way. That will take us back to 65.57. And let me just give you a couple more targets. 72.42. And at the outer band, 79.27. Obviously, that is a far out projection. That will whip us around before we get to this level, but keep your fingers crossed that we retrace to that level. And on the daily, we are in an upward channel, but some other gaps down here. And while I'm here, I might as well just mark it out. This one's so tiny, I don't even want to waste my time, but you can play gaps all day long. And that is all I want to say. Oh, I have to clean this up because, again, this is on the daily. So see how that touched right here. When I looked at it at $20.19, that one I started it at August 23 on the 18th of 2023. So that's done. Delete. No longer a threat. And what is going on with this one? See, some of these are so tiny, it's hard to make out. And obviously, I flipped it over to the different time frames, and my chart gets wonky, so I don't even know where this one touched. I think it was this. At 1791 would have been this gap. So that touch, that's no longer in play, no longer a threat. And this one to the upside touched here on this bar at $19.89, no longer in play to the upside. What about this one? That's no longer in play to the downside at $21.99. Delete. You can find gaps on different time frames. So this one took us, we flushed down, rode back up, and closed out that gap. 22.68, delete. I mean, I'll be here all day looking at this stuff sometimes. Okay, I'm going to stop and go to IQV, and this one ran today. Oh, while I'm on the daily, I'll just give you the target. So we're at $245.23, and to the north side takes us to 262.01, back to the middle of the trend and the baseline 232.10, and to the south side 212.11. I have to look at this on a different time frame. I can't tell if that one's, I think, yeah, that one's still in play. And I have not looked at this for a long time. What's going on here? I don't know. Let me just flip this over to a different time frame and see. So apparently on October 30th, when I looked at this, it was 177.16. Oh, what's going on here? So when I looked at this in the past, I tracked it at 186 and then obviously lower here and made our way to 231.45 back on May 17th. So on the monthly, we have room to move to the upside before we are overbought. No danger there just yet. Actually, let me do something while I'm here. This is the high point, and this is the low point. I use this for support and resistance. And if I flip it over to the 5-minute, you can see we've touched here and here. So in that case, when I flip it over to the 5, I know there that we have reached resistance. Well, 70 anyway, and then we touched this level, and that's the highest we've gotten on the monthly. So I don't anticipate it to get that high. And if it does, you can bet it's going to fall back down. All right, so that's a look at IQV on the 5-minute. Let's take a look at this. See what is happening. So we are at resistance, and you know what happens at resistance. People take their profit and they will run, they will lock in, and they will leave. So on Tuesday, I will anticipate a little bit of a pullback. The RSI is telling me, and so is this line. But we could run up here and then flush back down because we do have a gap to contend with. So right here are your targets: 252.29, 258.76. You can use the grid as your next target as well, and that would be 264.05. But I don't know if we'll get that high. Now to the south side, the middle of the trend and the baseline where price has to get through if it's going to go to the south side. And if it's on the south side on the way up, it'll go through the middle of the trend. And that's basically like a good resting place that price will go through eventually. So that is 234.14, and we are in an upward channel on the 5, so we could continue to move away from that middle of the trend, but the lines will move as well. That is automatically going to be done for you on the linear. 221.87, 215.78, the gap closes to the south side at 212.11, and at -4 SD, 209.59, and if we hit this level, I will definitely anticipate a buy-in as people buy the dip. Now, the next one is one I just talked about on Sunday night for Monday, CrowdStrike, still continuing to get hammered. Option R to reset on my Mac here, my MacBook. So let me read you the news first. And what did I see? Oh, shares of CrowdStrike dropped more than 13% on Monday. The stock has lost nearly 1/4 of its value over the past 2 trading days following the outage. And that outage affected, 8.5 million devices. And now it is getting hacked, warning customers that bad actors were trying to exploit the event. The company said it had identified a malicious file being sent around by hackers posing as a quick fix to the problem. Note to self: never click on anything. Do not click on anything. Do your research before you do it. It's always going to be a hack, and they're going to try to get to you and get into your computer. And old people always fall for it. It's like Chase Bank or any other bank is not going to contact you. They're not going to ask you for a payment. Don't believe them. It's horrible. So anyway, let's take a look at the chart now and see what it is telling us. So here on Sunday night, we were at 304.96. I talked about this gap to the upside. Well, guess what? We are moving farther away from it, still on a downward channel. We have not corrected. And this one opened up Monday out of the gate to the south side. But when we reverse course, whenever that is, there's some upside potential. So that's something to look forward to. But obviously you're going to be very upset if you didn't set a sell, if you didn't set a stop order, or you just bought in because it did go down. Or on the positive side, if you were bought it up way high, dollar cost average down. Yeah, it's not pretty. Let me change this out to green to indicate this is when we close, it'll be to the upside, but we are not there. And I'll mark this to, what did we end at? 263.91. Okay, change my coloring. I like to color code and keep it all consistent for the price. All right, to the north side, or we would be back to where I have already tracked it previously at 277.51, 286.68, and then 295.51, and then all of these gaps to the north side, not there yet. Middle of the trend, 259.48, 240.70, 231.82, and my goodness, down here, $222.47. And when I looked at this on Sunday, the price target was $390.14. I think, did I mark it out? 340, yeah. Oops. Command C. See, I just made something go wonky to reset. All right. And these are old support and resistance lines. And you want to flip this over on the daily and see what's happening. But on the daily, look at this. We are definitely at support, all right, on the daily. And look, this thing I think is about to turn. It's already down. Like, where are we? Let me get my... So we are here. And let's just, for giggles, this was the peak here, okay? And note the sell signal on the bot because we almost hit up here. Sometimes you don't get there, so the bot can help you in that sense, but let's just say right here to right here is a 32% slide to the downside. So look at that price target I tracked a long time ago. Look at this. Nice upward channel. So we are still in an upward channel. So, but can you stomach getting in right now? And still going down on the weekly, the RSI. Oh, what's going on here? See, look at this movement from here. From here, let's just say here to, it's hard to see because I've got this marked out so much, to this line right there is a roughly 304% return. If you've made 304% off of this, I think I would have gotten out. But you let it ride because it's in your ETF, so there's not much you can do unless you sell in and sell out and buy back in. But most people don't do that. They set it and forget it. And I tend to do that. All right, that's, oh, I want to show you the monthly just so that you can see what's happening. On the monthly, still falling. So we've got downward pressure still. 5 minutes. Let's go back on the 5-minute time frame. Let me delete this so I clean up my charts. You know, one day I'll delete all of these previous support and resistance lines, but sometimes these previous support and resistance lines are areas where price will retrace back. So yeah, it looks like a hot mess, but it's helpful sometimes, but I've marked it out too much. So just for giggles, I want to show you something. Right here, oh, delete. It's this one I want. Right there is the middle of the trend. On Sunday night, I said this was the middle of the trend, and now we are here for the middle of the trend. So we are following this line down, and from here, oops, I gotta turn off the magnet. That'll make your chart wonky. So from here, let's just say to right here, that's down 13. Oh yeah, right here, 4.6. I got 0.59, 13.59, 13.46 to this downside. So there you go. Not looking good, but looking better if people are trying to get in this ticker, because at some point it will reverse. Just right, not right now. It's like Boeing, it's getting hammered, but Boeing's been hammered for quite some time. I don't think crowds, well, I don't know. People will remember this. I don't know. Okay, let me go to one last one and finish up. And this is a trade I took. I got out because I hit a sell limit on accident. So early in the day, I got busy. I saw it at roughly a 5% return, I believe, when I looked at it. Here, there's one thing I want to do. See how there are so many gaps and it's hard to focus your eyes on the candlesticks? Just go to, and that's not the right one. Heiken Ashy, right here, this one. Okay, so that's nice and smooth and you can see all the candles. And so today is Monday, right? Let me take this back to Monday right here. Let me mark this out to give you a visual. All right, so I noticed it was starting to run. I have been trading this one. So I'm out of this position, and I had some here. Oh, and I'm out of this one. So I was trying to unload this position, and a long time ago, I missed my opportunity because I wasn't paying attention. I got busy, so I set my sell limit this morning as I saw the stock run. And I thought to myself, well, watch this. We're going to get a huge green candle, and this thing's going to take off. So I better at least put in a sell order. But I was conservative. Well, I shouldn't say conservative. I just played -2 and 2. So I actually went above 2 standard deviations and made it closer to 3, at which the price was $2.60 closer to 3. I wanted to sell it off at an even price. And look at this. We hit a high of 266, and that would have taken me past 3 standard deviations at that moment. And then we wicked. The candles will help you like get some extra coins. So anyway, I set my price point here. So I will flip this out, or flip this to green, indicating I have sold out. And what I like to do is on the 5-minute, cross this out. And then I'll take this to the bigger, I'll show you this in a bigger time frame. So you can see, Command Z, what has been happening to grow generation. This thing has beaten us up. It's dangerous. But I'm going to give you some price targets first. So we are at 266. It's hard to see. We've retraced to an area that I have been at before with my buy lines. Those pink lines are my buy lines. Green lines are my sell lines in general. 266. All right. So to the north side takes us to 272. Well, I've set the standard deviations, but we've gone beyond that. So be careful, because on Tuesday, I will anticipate a pullback. I mean, we could go up a little bit more and then pull back. So expect that. So I'll flip this over to the 15 in just a moment. To the downside, 2 standard deviations, 260, which is where I sold. Roughly 247, where I bought in previously. 234, 228, and 222. So those are your price targets. Now I'm going to flip this and check this out. Look at the RSI. It's telling you something, so pay attention. Support and resistance right here. 15-minute time frame. Let's see what we get. Oops. Command Z. All right. So on the 15-minute, you're going to get different buy and sell signals. To the north side, 272, 279, and 287-ish or 86-ish. Okay. And then to the middle of the trend, 258, 243, 236, and 229. And if we get back down to this level at 229, you can bet I'll be back in again. I try to play conservatively and try to hit and buy in roughly around -2, -3, or -4, and sometimes I don't get those prices, and you have to walk away and not get mad at yourself, because there are plenty of tickers I could be trading. All right, you can see I've been in and out of this one a lot. Oh my gosh, look at this. The green lines are my previous sell areas. Let's just go to the daily. Okay, the RSI, where are we? This line is in my way now. Turning up, not overextended yet on the daily, but look at the bounce off of support there. And this one, let me just keep that. Still plenty of room to move to the upside. And this one, running up. Look, on the monthly, we've got tons of room, but this is the highest. Oh, let me move this up. The highest we've been on the monthly. Now back to the 5 minute. Again, you'll get different buy and sell signals with the bot, with the linear. Depends on what time frame you are trading. And I just give you everything on the 5. It's just easier. All right, so congrats if you made some money off of Grow Generation. Oh yeah, what did I get? I didn't, because I bought down here. No, here, I bought here. At 233. So I got out, unfortunately, at 260. Right. Oops, let me just fix that. 260, and I bought in at 233. So I got 11.66%. The day's high is 11.76. All I want to do, I don't care, is get out of this position so I can do it all over again. And I still have, I think I have some shares still, yeah. And yeah. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at SOXL. What is it? IQV is the ticker symbol, and then CrowdStrike, and then Grow Generation. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great trading day.